A stranger among Starcelli was just a simple human traveler. After years on Earth, he finally got a chance to visit the stars. Space travel had become common, but Eli didn't care about fancy ships or big missions. He wanted to see the unknown. He arrived on a trading planet called Vora 9. The sky was always purple. The air smelled like spice and fire. Strange music played in every corner of the street. Aliens from many worlds walked, floated, or slithered through the market. Eli walked, slowly, wide-eyed. Everything was new and everything was beautiful. He stopped at a food stall. The seller had 6 arms and sharp teeth, but a kind smile. Eli tasted something that felt cold and hot at the same time. He smiled. "This is amazing," he said. But just as he was about to move to the next stall, he felt a strange chill. He turned, his head. In the crowd, a tall girl with silver hair and glowing blue eyes was staring at him. She stepped forward. Her voice was soft but strong. "You are mine." Eli blinked. "What?" The girl didn't smile. She looked serious, like she had just told him the weather. Eli laughed nervously. Sorry, do I know you?" "No, but I know you," she said. "Look, I think you've got the wrong guy," Eli said and walked away. But she followed. He turned a corner. She was there. He entered a store. She waited outside. No matter where he went in the market, she was watching him. Eli was annoyed, but a little scared too. Maybe she was just crazy. "Go away," he shouted once, but she didn't move. She just looked at him like she was waiting. That night, Eli stayed in a small space motel. The room was cold, and the lights flickered. He locked the door twice. He was still thinking about that strange girl. Why did she say, "You are mine"? What did she want from him? Before sleep came, he promised himself that he would take the next shuttle and leave Vora 9 in the morning. The next day, Eli woke up to shouting. "Get down!" someone screamed. Outside, something was attacking the market. Fire and smoke filled the air. People ran. A giant metal beast crawled through the street shooting lasers. It looked like a machine from a nightmare. Eli ran too. His heart pounded in his chest. He didn't know where to go. He fell behind a wall, trying to hide. Then he heard a voice. "Eli." It was her. She stood in the smoke like a ghost from a dream. The silver-haired girl. Her eyes glowed brighter now. She raised her hand and a blue shield appeared. The metal beast turned and fired at them, but the shield held strong. Eli watched in shock. The girl was protecting him. After the attack ended, the market was quiet. Broken. Some people cried. Others searched for lost friends. Eli stood beside the girl, speechless. "Who are you?" he asked. She looked at him, calm and clear. "I am Syra. Why did you save me?" "Because you are mine," she said again. Eli shook his head. "What does that even mean?" Zira stepped closer. "My people choose one partner in their life. Our bond is made from the soul. I saw you, and I knew." Eli laughed again, but this time it was weak. "You don't even know me." "I will," Zira said softly. He didn't know what to say. She turned and began to walk away, but then she stopped. "You will come with me soon. It is written." Eli watched her vanish into the smoke. His hands were still shaking from the attack. His heart was racing. But deep inside, something strange was growing. Not fear, something else. Chosen by the unknown, Eli couldn't sleep. Even after the attack ended and the fires were put out, his mind kept returning to Zira, the alien girl with glowing eyes who had saved him. "You are mine," she had said again just before disappearing into the smoke. Was she crazy? Dangerous? Or something else? Eli planned to leave the planet at sunrise. His ticket was ready. But just before boarding the shuttle, 2 tall alien guards stepped in front of him. "Eli Moran?" one of them asked. "Yeah?" he replied carefully. "Come with us. I have a flight to catch." "You've been summoned." "By who?" They didn't answer. They brought him to a private landing pad. A ship waited, sleek, silent, shaped like a blade. Zira stood at the top of the ramp. "I told you," she said quietly. "You are mine." Eli crossed his arms. "You can't just pull me off a planet like that. I did not force you. The attack forced your path. You saw what happened. You were marked. If you stay, they will come again." "Who will?" Zira walked closer. "There are those who want humans destroyed. They hate your kind. But my people do not. We need you." "What do you mean, need?" Zira touched a panel on her wrist. A hologram appeared. Of Eli, but this version of him had symbols around his face and numbers counting down. "What is this?" he asked. "A match code. We found genetic links between our species and yours. Your blood matches the royal sequence." "Royal what?" "It means you are compatible with me, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I didn't just pick you by chance. Fate led me." Eli laughed in disbelief. "You're saying I'm genetically perfect for you?" "Yes. I don't believe in fate, then believe in survival," Zira said. Inside the ship, everything felt alive. Walls pulsed gently like breathing skin. Lights followed their footsteps. Doors opened without touch. Zira guided him to a room filled with stars projected on the walls. "This is your space now," she said. "I'm not staying," Eli replied. "You already are." Hours passed. Eli explored the ship. No guards, no locked doors, just silence and shadows. He found the control deck. Zira stood there looking at a map of galaxies. "Where are we going?" "Home," she said. "You still haven't told me the truth. Why me? Why now?" Zira looked at him with calm eyes. "I will tell you a story." Zira's story. Many years ago, our world was poisoned by war. Not from outside, but from inside. We fought among ourselves for power, land, bloodlines. We believed purity of the royal code would keep our species strong. But that pride became our prison. Our blood began to weaken. We couldn't survive the suns anymore. Births dropped, sickness spread. Then a discovery changed everything. We were not alone in the genetic line. Humans, you were the missing piece. A perfect match, not just to save us, but to bond with us. And so a few of us were sent to find our counterparts. But time was short. I was sent, and I found you. Eli didn't know what to say. "So this isn't about love?" he asked. "This is science? Science may have brought me to you, but choice is what keeps me here." He stared at her. "You could have lied," he whispered. "I could have," she said, "but I didn't." Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Lights turned red. Alarms rang. "What now?" Eli shouted. "Enemy ship," Zira said quickly. "They've found us. You said they hate humans. They want to stop our bond. If they kill you, the chain is broken. Forever." Zira grabbed Eli's hand. "Stay behind me." A blast hit the side of the ship. Fire spread. Zira ran to the shield panel and activated the defense. Another explosion. The ship tilted hard. "This isn't just your war anymore," Eli said, gripping the wall. Zira looked at him, eyes fierce. "No, now it's ours." They barely escaped through a hidden warp tunnel. Hours later, the ship floated in silence. Eli sat beside Zira in the dark. "You risked your life for me," he said softly. "Yes. I don't know if I'm ready for this." "You don't have to be ready," she whispered. "You only have to choose." Eli looked at the stars outside. He had come to explore the galaxy. But maybe he had found something more. Secrets of the soul bond. The ship drifted in silence. Stars passed by the windows like slow-moving fireflies. Eli sat alone in his room, staring at the glowing floor. He didn't feel like a hero or a chosen one. He just felt confused. He had come to Vora 9 as a traveler. Now he was flying through space on a living ship with an alien girl who said they were destined to be together. He wasn't sure if it was fate or madness. Zira hadn't spoken much since the attack. She spent her time on the command deck scanning for enemy signals. Her face was calm, but her eyes looked tired. Behind the strong shield she showed him, Eli could see something was breaking inside her. Late that night, Eli finally stepped into the deck. "You're still awake?" he asked. "I don't sleep much anymore," she replied. He sat beside her, in silence. Then he asked, "What is a soul bond?" Zira's eyes slowly turned to him. "It's more than love," she said. "It's connection. Energy that links two lives beyond blood or biology. Not everyone gets one in a lifetime. Some search forever. Others are lucky. And you think we have that?" "I feel it. When you're hurt, I feel pain. When you're afraid, I feel cold." Eli swallowed. He hadn't told her, but during the attack he had felt something too. Like someone whispering inside his mind. Calling his name. "Is that why you saved me?" "Yes. And no, I would have saved you even if you weren't my bond." "Why?" "Because you're good. Your soul shines. Not everyone does." Hours passed. Zira showed Eli a map of her world. Zalith. It was once full of green oceans and floating cities. Now it was dying. Storms covered the skies. Children were rarely born. And the empire, once strong, was now divided. "They blame the humans," Zira said. "Because of fear. Fear that our salvation comes from outsiders." "And what about you?" Eli asked. "Do you fear me?" "I fear losing you." Those words made his chest tighten, not from fear, but something closer to warmth. Later, the ship arrived at a hidden station orbiting a gas giant. Zira looked tense. "This is a contact point. We meet my informant here." "Are we safe?" "No, but we must try." Inside the station, the air smelled like metal and smoke. Machines hummed around them. Zira kept her hood up. Eli followed closely. They entered a dark chamber. A shadow stepped out. A tall man with pale skin, sharp yellow eyes, and a voice like broken glass. "You brought him," the man said. "Yes," Zira replied. Eli stared. Something about the man felt wrong. Then Zira spoke again. "Eli, this is Karn. He used to work with my father. Now he's my only lead to stop the attack on Earth." "Wait, Earth?" Eli asked. "They're going to attack Earth?" Karn nodded slowly. "Not all of us want peace. Some think if the human link dies, the old power will return. Killing you would kill the future." Eli felt cold. "But why? Earth, why now?" Zira looked down. "Because they found out about us, about the bond." "How?" Karn stepped forward. "Because someone from your world told them." Shock. Eli froze. "What are you saying?" Zira turned to him gently. "Someone on Earth helped the enemies find you. Your file was sold. Your path was exposed." Eli's mind raced. "Who? Why? We don't know yet," Zira whispered. "But it means we can't trust anyone. Not even your own people." The ground beneath Eli's thoughts cracked. Was he a target? A symbol? A weapon? As they prepared to leave the station, a bomb exploded behind them. Karn was thrown into the wall. Zira grabbed Eli and activated her shield. "Run!" she shouted. Masked, soldiers stormed the hallway. They fired energy darts that sizzled against Zira's barrier. Eli ducked behind her, trying not to panic. "Who are they?" "Traitors," Zira said. "From my world. They want the bond broken." They ran to the ship, fire and alarms behind them. As the doors closed and the ship launched, Zira collapsed to the floor, blood on her arm. "Zira!" "I'll heal," she muttered. "Why do you keep risking your life for me?" Eli asked, voice shaking. Zira looked at him, eyes soft. "Because I'd rather die with you than live without you." Eli couldn't answer. The words hit too deep. That night, Eli stood alone in the observatory. Stars floated in silence. He thought about everything. Zira's protection, the secret enemy, the betrayal from Earth, and the soul bond. He looked down at his hands. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a savior. But maybe, just maybe, he could become one. The human who changed her world, the stars outside Zara's ship, were no longer calm. The space around them had become dangerous. Enemy patrols coded threats and silent hunters moved through the dark like sharks in black water. Eli was no longer just a passenger. He was a target, and Zara, his strange, fearless protector, was now bleeding from wounds he couldn't heal. Days passed. Zara's body recovered quickly, but her spirit didn't. She moved quietly, ate less, spoke in short sentences. Eli tried to comfort her, but she kept a distance. One night she finally spoke. "They were my own people," she said softly. "They tried to kill us. They would rather watch our race die than see us united." Eli listened. Her voice shook like the engines of her ship. "What does your empire say now?" he asked. "They pretend nothing happened," she whispered. "My mother, the Empress, has gone silent." "Your mother is the Empress?" Zara nodded. "She was once strong. Now she listens to weak voices." "So you're a princess?" "Was," Zara said. "Not anymore." The next destination was Exalith, Zara's homeworld. From space it looked beautiful. Rings of light surrounded its blue clouds. But as they entered the atmosphere, Eli saw the truth. The land below was cracked. Cities were dim. The sky looked heavy with storms. "This was once the heart of the galaxy," Zara said. "Now it struggles to beat." They landed in a hidden base beneath a mountain. Zara introduced Eli to her old friend, Talon, a former royal pilot. Talon stared at Eli with cold eyes. "So, this is the human?" "Yes," Zara said firmly. "He doesn't look special." "He's more than special," she replied. Eli felt strange, judged, out of place. "Are you sure he's ready for what's coming?" Talon asked. "He has to be." That night, Zara finally opened up. She took Eli to a quiet lake near the base. Glowing fish swam in the black water. Their lights danced on her silver skin. "My people were proud," Zara said. "Too proud to ask for help. Too proud to admit we needed change." "And you?" Eli asked. "I broke that pride. When I chose you, I broke everything they believed. Did you regret it?" Zara looked at him. "Never. I regret only that we had so little time." Eli didn't ask what she meant. He just sat beside her in silence, watching the water. Then Zara turned to him and held out her hand. "Do you want to see it?" she asked. "See what?" "Our bond." Eli slowly took her hand. In an instant his mind filled with light. Memories not his own, feelings not his own. Zara's childhood, her fears, her strength, her loneliness, all of it poured into him like a storm. Tears rolled down his face without warning. "I didn't know," he whispered. "Now you do." Just before sunrise, Talon ran into the room. "They're coming," he shouted. "Your mother sent royal ships. They know the human is here." Zara jumped to her feet. She wouldn't. She did. Eli stood too. "What are they going to do?" "They want to take you," Talon said. "To test you. To prove you're a lie. And if I refuse, they'll kill you." Zara's face went pale. "No," she said, "they won't touch him." The mountain base went into lockdown. Alarms rang. Ships prepared for takeoff. Eli stood in the middle of it all, feeling powerless. He turned to Zara. "We have to talk to them. No more hiding." "They won't listen. Then make them." "How?" "Take me to them. Not as a prisoner. Not as your bond. Take me as your equal." Zara looked at him, surprised. "Do you trust me?" he asked. She nodded. They flew to the royal tower. The Empress waited in silence. Her face was carved from stone. Powerful, calm, cold. "You brought him here?" she asked Zara. "He came on his own." The Empress looked at Eli. "Human, what do you know of our pain?" Nothing, Eli said honestly, but I know what it feels like to be feared, and still choose peace. Why should we trust your bond with my daughter? Eli looked the Empress in the eye. Because I would die for her, and if that's not enough, then your empire is already dead. The room went quiet. For the first time, the Empress blinked, but just as hope rose, the doors burst open, a general ran in, blood on his armor. An enemy fleet is attacking our outer colonies. The virus has returned, everyone gasped. What virus? Eli asked. Zira looked down. The sickness I told you about. It's back, stronger. The Empress turned to Zira. Take him, go. If you truly believe in this bond, then prove it. Save our people. Zira looked at Eli. Are you ready? I don't know, he said, but I'll go with you. Love or loyalty? Eli stood in silence as the royal ship carried them away from the capital. His heart was heavy, but his eyes were clear. The soul bond had shown him everything. Zira's fears, her pain, her hope, and now her people needed help. They were running out of time. Beside him, Zira sat quiet, her face calm but unreadable. You're thinking too much, she said softly. I can't help it, Eli replied. I'm about to fly into a dying world and try to save a species. I barely understand. Not just any world, she said, mine and yours now too. They arrived at a colony called Navalar, once a city of light, now surrounded by ash and silence. The virus had returned stronger. Zira's people were dying by the hundreds. The ground burned with black dust. Air was thick with sorrow. Doctors worked day and night, but nothing helped. Zira and Eli entered a lab deep inside the colony. We need a cure, Zira told the scientists. You said the bond can help. The lead researcher, a tired woman named Kaylin, nodded. Your human carries unique immune cells, she explained. His DNA could resist the virus, that maybe even destroy it. Eli looked at Zira. You think my body holds the answer? I believe it, she whispered. Then do whatever you have to do. Hours later, Eli lay on a silver table. Machines scanned his blood. Alien needles took samples. His vision blurred, but he stayed calm. Zira never left his side. Kaylin returned with results. It's true, she said, amazed. Your blood can kill the virus, but it's risky. We need to mix your cells into a bioserum, and then you'll have to deliver it directly. You mean go inside the infected zone? Eli asked. Yes, deep into the source. It's protected by radiation storms and hostile creatures. So, a suicide mission? Kaylin didn't answer. Eli looked at Zira. She didn't beg him to stay. She just touched his hand. We're bonded, she said. Whatever you decide, I'll go with you. Before they could leave, a message came through. Earth was calling. Eli stepped into the comm room. On the screen, he saw the United Earth Council, powerful men and women in suits. Cold, sharp voices. Eli Moran, one of them said. We know where you are and what you've done. You've made contact with an alien empire without permission, and worse, you've shared your blood. You could have started a war. Eli stood tall. I didn't start a war. I'm trying to stop one. You disobeyed direct orders. You were meant to observe, not bond. So you knew about the soul bond? Eli asked. Silence. You sold my data, Eli said bitterly. You exposed me to the enemy. The council didn't deny it. It was a calculated risk, one said. Now we demand your return. And if I say no, then Earth will see you as a traitor. Eli ended the call. His hands were shaking. Zira stood nearby. They betrayed you. They used me, Eli whispered, to see if humans and aliens could merge. And now that it's working, they're afraid. Will they attack? Maybe. Maybe not. But I'm done following them. The next morning, Eli and Zira suited up for the mission. They flew into the storm. The infected zone looked like a broken wound in the planet's surface. Creatures twisted by disease roamed the ashes. Clouds pulsed with static, And in the center, an ancient reactor leaking radiation and virus. Eli and Zyra landed on the edge. "We go together," she said. "No," Eli replied. "If I don't make it back, someone has to survive." "I won't leave you. I know, but someone has to live to carry the cure." He kissed her for the first time, soft, unsure, but real. Then he ran into the storm. Inside the reactor, the air was thick and hot. Machines sparked. Toxic gas hissed. Eli injected the serum into the core. Alarm screamed. The virus reacted violently, fighting the cure like a beast. Eli fell to his knees. His body burned. His vision faded. But he stayed there, hand on the control until the core turned green. Outside, Zyra saw the sky begin to clear. Ash turned to snow. The air changed. The virus was dying. But Eli didn't come out. Zyra ran into the storm. She found him lying near the core, barely breathing. "Eli," she screamed. His eyes opened slowly. "Did it work?" "Yes," she said through tears. "You did it." "Good," he whispered. "Then it was worth it." His hand fell to the ground. The final trial snowflakes fell like tiny stars, drifting through the quiet air of a dying world. The virus was gone. The skies were clean. The wind was soft. But Zyra knelt in silence, holding Eli's still body in her arms. He wasn't breathing. His skin was cold, but his face peaceful. "Wake up," she whispered. "Please, Eli, wake up." But he didn't move. Behind her, the med team arrived in emergency suits. They pulled Zyra back gently. She resisted at first, clutching him tighter. But eventually, she let them take his body. The man who saved her people was gone. A day later, the Empress sent a message to Zyra. "Bring him home," her mother said. "He died as a warrior. We will honor him." Zyra's voice was hollow. He was more than a warrior. She returned to the capital with Eli's body in a glass chamber. Millions watched the procession. Aliens of every rank stood in silence as the savior of Zalith was carried through the great hall. But Zyra didn't cry. Not in front of them. In the Temple of the Bond, Zyra stood alone. She lit the eternal flame, reserved only for heroes of legend. No human had ever been honored in such a way. A priest spoke. "He who gave his soul to a dying race shall walk the stars forever." Then Zyra stepped forward. She placed her hand on the glass. "You once said you didn't believe in fate," she whispered. "But I did. And I believed in you." Hours passed. Zyra sat in the dark, surrounded by silence, until a low hum. She turned. Eli's chamber glowed faintly. The lights flickered. Systems beeped. Then, movement. His fingers twitched. Zyra jumped to her feet. "Eli?" His eyes fluttered open. He gasped for air. Zyra ran to the console, shouting for the medics. Within minutes, doctors rushed in, scanning him. His heart was weak, his body damaged, but somehow he was alive. "It's not possible," one medic said. "The energy in the reactor should have killed him." Another replied, "It didn't kill him. It changed him." 2 days later, Eli sat on a bed in the healing chamber. Zyra sat beside him, her hand never leaving his. "How do you feel?" she asked softly. "Like I got hit by a moon," he groaned. She smiled. "You were dead for 3 minutes. That's it? Felt like forever." She touched his cheek. "Eli, something's happened to you." He looked at her. "What do you mean?" "Your blood. It's not the same. It's stronger. Faster. Your cells are glowing." "Glowing?" "You absorbed something in the core. Something ancient." Kaylin entered the room holding a scanner. The core wasn't just a reactor, she explained. It was built over a star-forged well, an energy source made by the ancients. Very few survive contact with it. "What does it mean?" Eli asked. Kaylin looked serious. "It means you're no longer just human." The Empire held a council meeting. The Empress addressed her people. "The human who risked everything for us. is reborn, part human, part something greater. Some cheered, some feared. But Zira stood and spoke. Eli is proof that we can change, that we don't have to die in fear or pride. He didn't come to conquer, he came to love. The room was silent. Then the Empress stood. What is your will, Zira? She turned to Eli. He looked around the great hall, aliens staring at him, his body still aching from death. He stepped forward. I never asked for this, he said. I'm not a god, not a king, not even a soldier. I'm just a man who fell, in love with a woman who claimed me. People laughed quietly. But if my blood can heal, if my voice can help, then let me use it, not as your ruler, but as your equal. The Empress raised her hand. So it shall be. But peace did not last. 3 nights later, an agent entered Zira's chambers. He handed her a sealed file. From Earth, he said. Zira opened it. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. She ran to Eli. You need to see this. He read the file. His heart sank. Earth was coming, not to talk, not to celebrate, but to take him back by force. They saw his transformation as a threat, a human fused with alien energy, too dangerous. Earth had sent a fleet. They would arrive in 2 days. Zira paced. We can't fight them, Eli, not yet, not after everything. We don't have to fight, he said. We can speak. They won't listen. Then I'll make them. He turned to the Royal Engineers. Prepare a broadcast ship. I want to speak to Earth, not as a traitor, not as a weapon, but as the man they left behind. Groom of 2 worlds, the stars above Zalith were no longer calm. Giant ships moved through the dark sky. Cold, silent, armed for war, Earth's fleet had arrived. At the center was the flagship of the United Earth Command, with weapons locked, defenses up, and one clear message sent to the surface: return Eli Moran immediately or face consequences. Zira stood on the balcony of the Royal Tower, staring at the fleet. Her hand was tight around the rail, her jaw clenched. They're afraid, she said. Eli stood beside her, wearing a simple black suit stitched with threads from both worlds. I was one of them, he replied. I would have been afraid too. You still are one of them, she whispered. But you're also one of us. In the Grand Hall, preparations were underway, but not for war. For a message, a truth, a last chance at peace. The engineers finished building a long-range communication ship. Small, fast, unarmed, and designed to send Eli's voice across both fleets. He stepped aboard. Zira followed him. You don't have to go alone, she said. I do, he replied softly. But you'll be with me. Always. He leaned forward and kissed her forehead. Trust me. The ship launched. It moved slowly toward the center of Earth's fleet. Inside, Eli stood before the camera. His voice was calm, but strong. The screen lit up, showing millions across space and both worlds. The speech began. My name is Eli Moran. I was born on Earth, raised as a human. And yes, I still am one. But I am also something new. Not a god, not a monster. Just a man who died once. And came back different. He took a breath. You sent me to observe. I found more than data. I found life, pain, struggle, and love. I bonded with Zira, not because of science, but because of choice. She saved me when she didn't have to. I saved her people because it was right. He looked into the lens, eyes steady. Earth is afraid. You fear what I've become, but I didn't choose power. I chose peace. If that makes me a threat, then what are you afraid of? He paused. I am not returning as a prisoner. I am not running either. I am standing in between 2 worlds, asking one thing. Don't let fear decide who we are. For a moment, there was silence. Across Earth's fleet, leaders watched, soldiers listened, admirals waited, and then Earth sent a message. A single line. Message received. Weapons offline. Request dialogue. Cheers erupted in Zalith. Zyra fell to her knees, hands over her face, crying for the first time in years. Eli's ship turned and landed back at the capital. When he stepped out, Zyra ran to him and held him tight. "You did it," she whispered. "We did it," he replied. 1 week later, a great ceremony took place in the sky gardens of Zalith. People from both Earth and Zira's world gathered. Banners flew. Light danced in the air. Children laughed. And at the center stood two figures, Eli Moran, the human who changed fate, Zira Valeth, the alien girl who claimed him with 3 simple words: "You are mine." They wore robes of unity, half black, half silver, stitched with the symbols of both their species. As Zyra placed a glowing ring on his hand, she whispered, "I still remember the first time you laughed at me." Eli smiled. "And now I'm the one crying." They laughed together. Then the skies lit up with thousands of lights, not weapons, but stars. And for the first time in galactic history, humans and aliens stood not as strangers, but as one people. Epilogue. Years later, children would ask their parents, "Is it true that our world was saved by love?" And their parents would smile and say, "Yes, because once an alien girl said, 'You are mine,' and the human didn't run away. He stayed, and he changed everything."